The use of animals regulation. I hope that you have been able to print or download a copy of the regulation. I'd like to take a minute to review that regulation with you. A licensee in Section 1 of the regulation shall not use any animal in the provision of private investigator security guard services except in accordance with this regulation, which is to say that if an individual guard or agency does, in fact, utilize guard dogs, those dogs have to be treated in accordance with the rules that are outlined in this regulation. Section 2, an animal may not be used to control individuals or crowds or for the pursuit or restraint of individuals. So you need to understand that the use of a guard dog is not for the issues or the items that have just been listed. Subsection 2, an animal may not be used to guard or patrol a place unless it's accompanied by an individual licensee. So unlike in the old days, one cannot leave a guard dog alone in a premises overnight in the hopes of protecting that premises. The guard dog must be accompanied by the guard at all times while it's working. Section 3, a licensee may use a dog to track or detect people or things. So dogs can be used, because of obviously the superior sense of smell, in order to locate property or potentially identify individuals. Section 4, Sub 1, an individual licensee in the provision of security guard services may be accompanied by a dog for the licensee's protection. Sub 2, a dog accompanying an individual licensee as permitted by subsection 1 must A, be on a lead and under the control of the licensee, and B, wear a fluorescent collar and identification tag that includes the name of the licensed or registered business entity that employs the individual licensee. So bear in mind that the dog can only be used to protect the individual guard that it accompanies, and the dog clearly has to be identified as a security-related animal. Dog training, which is Section 5. A dog may not be used as permitted under this regulation unless it is first trained A, to obey the commands of the dog's handler or the person the dog is accompanying, B, to respond only to aggression against the dog's handler or the person the dog is accompanying, and to respond accordingly when the aggression abates, and C, to not kill or seriously injure people or animals. So you need to understand the dangers of a trained security-related animal and the importance of ensuring that animal is always under control and not trained to cause extensive damage. 6, a licensed business entity shall develop written policies and procedures on the care and handling of dogs used or permitted by this regulation, including policies and procedures on the dog's feeding, housing, transportation, veterinary care, retirement, and euthanasia at the end of the dog's life. And Section 7, a licensed business entity shall ensure that the individual licensees employed by it comply with this regulation. And Section 8, an individual licensee or licensed business entity that gives away or sells a dog that was used as described in Section 4 shall advise the dog's new owner that the dog was used to accompany one or more security guard in the provision of security guard services. So it's very important to ensure that if you are working with a company that deals with canine security, that you and of course the organization itself comply with the regulation.